Start with the symptom: heart rate up, palm slightly damp, a low hum of unease that won't quite name itself. Researchers at the University of Missouri, led by Russell Clayton, once separated a group of people from their phones in a lab and measured what happened inside their bodies. Blood pressure climbed, heart rate increased. The participants weren't told to feel anything. Their bodies decided for them. Your mind says, it's just a phone. Your body disagrees. Why would your body argue with something so obviously safe? To answer that, leave the phone behind completely. Go back further. Long before screens, long before cities, your ancestors lived in small bands. Maybe 20 people, maybe 50. Survival wasn't about strength or speed. It was about staying connected to the group. A human alone on the savannah didn't last long. No backup, no warning system, no one to share food when the hunt failed. So evolution built an alarm system directly into your nervous system, one that triggers not just when a predator appears, but when connection to the group is at risk. Stanford neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky spent decades studying stress responses in baboon troops in Kenya. He found that for primates living in social groups, the most reliable trigger for stress wasn't a lion in the grass. It was a disruption in social standing or social contact. Proximity to the group was, biologically speaking, survival. That alarm system never got an upgrade. It still runs on the same ancient code. It cannot tell the difference between being cast out of a tribe on a savanna and being 30 feet from your phone on a kitchen counter. To your nervous system, both register the same way. Disconnected, exposed, unsafe. Isn't that strange? A piece of glass and metal somehow plugged itself directly into a system built for tribal survival. Here's where it gets more specific. Your phone isn't actually the thing your brain fears losing. It's what the phone represents. Every notification, every message thread, is a thin digital wire running back to your tribe. Sherry Turkle, a researcher at MIT who has spent years studying how people relate to their devices, found something consistent across her interviews. People didn't describe their phones as objects. They described them as a presence, a way of feeling tethered to other people, even in total silence. When the phone disappears, your nervous system doesn't compute, "I lost a device." It computes something closer to, "I lost my people." That reframes the anxiety completely. You're not addicted to a screen. You're afraid of disappearing from your tribe's awareness. And your nervous system has no separate category for social media tribe versus actual hunt with me, survive with me tribe. It uses the same ancient circuitry for both. Could a 300,000-year-old survival instinct really be driving something as small as checking your lock screen at a red light? It gets stranger still. Notice what happens in the seconds after that itch to check your phone hits. Your eyes scan for it. Your hand pats your pocket or your bag. If you find it, something in your chest loosens immediately. That release isn't really about information. It's confirmation that the tribe still knows where you are. Psychologists have a name for the diffuse worry that comes from losing this constant tether. Nomophobia, short for no mobile phone phobia. First named in a UK study back in 2008 that found a significant share of mobile users experienced real anxiety symptoms simply from the possibility of losing phone contact. The name is modern. The feeling underneath it is not. Look at how this plays out across an ordinary day. You wake up. Before your eyes are even fully open, your hand finds the phone on the nightstand. Not because you need information, because some ancient part of you is doing a roll call. Is my tribe still there? You walk into a waiting room. You feel exposed, slightly on edge, surrounded by strangers. Out comes the phone, less as entertainment and more as a social anchor. A silent way of saying, I still have people, even here. Have you ever noticed how much faster your hand reaches for your phone the moment you feel even a little alone in a crowd? This also explains something that seems backwards. You'd expect being around people in person would calm the urge to check your phone. Often, it does the opposite. A notification during a conversation, even with someone right beside you, can feel more urgent than the actual person in front of you. That's not rudeness. That's your alarm system misfiring, treating a distant blinking signal from the tribe as more pressing than someone an arm's length away. Your ancestors never had to choose between the person beside the fire and the rest of the tribe 2 valleys over. Now there's a constant low-grade signal that they might need you, and your nervous system treats every one of those signals as a small survival check. There's a darker layer underneath this too. In small ancestral bands, being forgotten by the group wasn't a minor social slight. It could be lethal. If the band moved on without you, if no one came looking when you didn't return, your odds of survival collapsed fast. So the dread of being forgotten isn't a shallow modern insecurity about likes and replies. It's a direct descendant of a very real, very physical fear. The fear of being left behind by the only support system that kept you alive. When your phone battery dies somewhere unfamiliar and that small wave of panic rises, you are feeling an emotion built for a world where being unreachable could mean being unrescued. So what do you do with an alarm system this old, wired into a world this new? You can't switch it off. It isn't a flaw to be fixed. It's a feature that kept your ancestors alive long enough to become your ancestors. But you can recognize it for what it actually is. The next time your chest tightens because you left your phone in another room, you're not malfunctioning. You're not weak-willed or too attached to technology. You are running ancient software on hardware it was never designed for. A brain still convinced that distance from the group equals danger. Maybe that changes how you treat the urge. Not as something to white-knuckle through, and not as something to feed endlessly either, but as information. A signal that underneath the buzzing and the scrolling, what you actually want is simpler and older than any app. To know your people are still there, and that you still belong among them. Your phone buzzes again. This time, you look at it on purpose. Not because some invisible alarm forced your hand toward your pocket, but because you finally understand what that alarm has been trying to tell you all along. You were never afraid of losing a device. You were afraid of losing your tribe. And your tribe, it turns out, was never inside the phone at all.